Hello and welcome. This is Peter Palmiotti of Humanoid Studio. And today, working once again on retro. Uh, if you didn't know, I'm inking the first issue of my comic Retro. Jump around, working on figures mostly. And so I'm going to get my quill out, get started in a second. Hope you all are doing well today. Jumped into my stream a little earlier than predicted. I get my cats outside. Hopefully they won't make too much noise. I'm actually come up with a solution for them, of which I need cashola, but so it goes. Who do we got here today? We got Salazar Art Nation. Hello, Frank. How you doing? On this wonderful election day. The name of this episode is what do I call it? Vicious Oppression, Tedious Evil, otherwise known as Vote. And that's my 2 cents in the political arena. Because, yeah, I don't really talk politics. But hopefully, there's a good result as of today for the U.S. We shall see. Haven't really peeked in on any news, but I probably will later. So, yeah, today, what I do? Working on my studio. I drew that Captain America piece on the cover today. I mentioned previously that I want to do more of my own artwork, and it was just a small little piece, but it took me longer than predicted. Just trying to get back into the rhythm of making my own art that isn't just doodles. There's really a difference between my pencils and my finished ink pieces, and I want to get my finished ink pieces to look more like my more recent pencil work. So that's going to be a work in progress for sure. So yeah, I've been working on my studio a little bit today. Dealing with some paperwork stuff I got to take care of. The good news is I've made my rent, so good for another month. That's always good. Let's see. Frank says, doing good, just got out of the job and heading out again, but dropped in to say hi. Vote Rick Ashley. Yes, indeedy. So yeah, just trying to clean up and organize my studio so I can get more organized and I do want to post up a lot of artwork that I have. Hey, let's see if I have it. Do I have it? Yeah, I think I have it. Yeah, this is it. Yeah, I have a lot of artwork I've done over the past batch of years, and here's another one. Um, this is something I did called, I think I called it Underground Ugly. It's a fun piece I did 5 years ago. So I'll post this up again, a bunch with, as well as a bunch of other artwork I have, and see if I can put it into people's hands. So yeah, I was like dealing with my cats. They're not a heck of a lot of trouble throughout the day, but if I can guarantee that they won't bother me for a span of 8 or 10 hours, um, then that would be a great bit of help. And I'm considering the idea of getting a cat sitter. Obviously, it would be, if you've been following along, it would be somebody who's willing to pick up my cats, take them to their place, have them for the day, and then drop them off. And I do have a neighbor who might be interested, and it's somebody I know and trust. And they've had cats. They currently have a bunch of dogs. So, yeah, I chatted with them. They have to get back to me. So there's some interest there. Of course, I don't have the money for that today, but hopefully this month of November goes way better than last month. Still have yet to hear from my book deal, and I got some artwork I'm going to be working on. So get some money rolling in, and might be able to do that. We shall see. We shall see. Because if I have them off my back, it'll be a lot easier to plan out my days. So then I can focus my workload to when they're out of the house. So one bit of crappy news is I actually do know somebody who's tested positive for COVID, and it's my friend in town, and her, and right now all the family I'm considering off limits for the most part. Well, she didn't test positive, but her brother's girlfriend, since they all live in the same house, so that might be 2 weeks of isolation. So hoping for the best for all of them. Totally sucks. And she got it from, well, if she tests positive, she got it from a coworker. So fingers crossed she doesn't. Let's see what else is new. Yeah, and just trying to get focused on improving my business, improving my work. Um, once I get a top on top of everything I want to scan and clean up in my office, then I'll start tackling the details of all that. And it's like a little by little, brick by brick. Yeah, I posted. Oh, yeah, I posted a bit of my struggles, and somebody said, it's not easy for us independent creators, and I pretty much got a lot of that sort of sentiment recently from other creators. I mean, a lot of us are just solo creators trying to eke out our own existence and make a living and trying to work on our comic at the same time. And it's just a battle of the daily grind. But do what we can. Um, Wanted to mention one of the things I recently started watching is there's a special uh, documentary miniseries on Netflix with the space shuttle, specifically the space shuttle Challenger. Um, and when that lifted off, that was just late 80s. And I was working a day job back then. I remember specifically where I was at the time. I was actually working at the Chrysler building, although our company had another office. What is it? On Lexington Avenue, which is sort of around the block down the street. And I was at the annex office at the exact time that the Challenger lifted off. And of course, it exploded pretty much shortly after takeoff and ended Nassau flights for years. So this is about that tragic event, and the series starts off with that moment, like the minutes leading up to it, and then that moment. And it's so really powerful, heartbreaking. Like I said, I remember exactly where I was. I was in the annex building, and we had TVs. I forget why, but let's see, the Chrysler building. Well, I was in the ad agency. And sir, it happened when I was in the annex building, and then I ran back to our main building in the Chrysler building. And everybody knew about it at that point. Yeah, so I just started watching the first episode to that. It's a, it's a lot more information than I knew concerning all the people that were on the flight and what was happening on the scene at Nassau. Yeah. Um, Not much else to say about that. Uh, it's a very short series, so it's probably, I guess, 6 hours altogether or something like that. So eventually I'll check it all out. And I guess my last episode was before Halloween. So over here, um, I guess it's different for different people around the world, but we had a blue moon, which is the second full moon that happens in the same month. It's not actually blue. It's just called that. Um, and that was really cool. Although, like when we get outside to see it, it was kind of really tiny. But you could tell it was full. We grabbed some dinner. And what did we watch? Jeez. I forget now. That's the problem with watching too much. Especially lately. There's no pointers in life. It's like everything blurs. But it was a good night. Nothing too exciting. The best one can do in the current state of everything. I hear Europe and like international places are going into shutting down mode again because the COVID numbers are rising. It's just, you know, the holidays coming up. Uh, More and more people are wanting to get out or will be getting out. But, you know, I was hoping by this time that like things would be slowing down, but it looks like things are picking up again. As far as the number of cases we're having and number of deaths and all that. So wear your masks, kids. Everybody. really a tough time for all. I think pretty much most movies have been pushed into next year. I think Wonder Woman is still holding on at Christmas. Maybe one or two others as far as big blockbuster movies. And while part of me wants to see, Wonder Woman actually happen this year, it's also okay if they push it to next year. Hey, it's Nefarious. What's up, chat? Well, Frank left, so it's only you. See, you're talking to yourself, but you're also talking to me. So yeah. I'm just jumping around in topics, but like as much as I would love to be consistently anything right now, pretty much like as I can, I will stream as I can. I want to get back into blogging. If you didn't see my newest blog, it's up on Blogspot. So blogspot.com/Peter Palmiotti. You can go check it out. Nothing super fantastical. But writing stuff down as opposed to chatting it out. They both have their sort of purposes. And ways they help get me focused. I was never a big blogger, but it's going to be my sort of journal as to my progress going forward. So you can follow me there. Nefarious says, chilling, watching you. How you doing, bro? Doing good. Surviving in this crazy world, and I've mentioned a bunch of times recently that I want to post more art and sell more art. I sold a couple of little sketch card stuff, random stuff. So my rent is covered for this month. So I do need to bring in a lot more money. I don't have to panic as much. Which is always a good thing for us freelancers. And Nefarious says, most people I know are kind of irregular at the moment. Yeah, it's been off my schedule for like 2 weeks now. Yeah. Yeah. I know for sure, like, the holidays usually lots of random stuff arises. I wouldn't say, well, I'm getting together with my family a bunch of times, and I was lucky enough to get together with everybody back in January, and we did sort of arbitrary plan, like either June or July, that we would get together again, but that was before COVID happened, and Yeah, that's not happening until things are back to normal. Uh, Especially considering my family's in Florida, and I think the numbers in Florida are escalating again. So not a good thing, but you know, luckily my family they're all staying home and isolated, and you know, for the most part. So while I won't see them until next year sometime, hopefully, fingers crossed. Um, they're doing okay. Um, but regardless, November, December usually wind up being crazy months and hard to plan anything around these months. But I'll be streaming when I can. I'll be blogging when I can. Um, I mostly post to Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. If you want to watch my active activities. And trying to do something for my patron each week. Did a video last week, and I think this week I'll do something later in the week for my patrons. But yeah, it's just a matter of making enough progress at the end of the year, so we can go into next year on better footing. And like you say, all nefarious, all we can do is keep moving forward, right? I just hope we don't have to cancel Christmas. Well, Christmas won't be the same, but it will still exist, especially in our hearts. Um, yeah, I hope to have some really good news before Christmas, so that will be my Christmas gift. But we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. I think I'm almost at the point where I'm just calling 2020 done. Um, all my initial plans for the year, I might have to scrap, but we'll see. We'll see. One of the things I did do today is I have a bunch of links below in my description box below the video. If you go there, you see all my social links, and most sites I'm on are under my own name, Peter Palmiotti. Pretty easy, standard, and pretty easy to find. But I also have a LinkedIn, a couple of links, not down there, but you can find them in my link tree. And what I'm doing is it has a couple of my links, but mostly it has I think currently 4 different crowdfunders from 4 different friends. If you want to go check out their campaigns, one of which, Russ Leach, I mentioned 100 times on this channel. His campaign is still going strong. He added another 30 days, I believe. So he'll be going the month of November. There's Randy Sipon, who I've had on the channel previously. And I'll message him at some point and set up a new day for us to chat. He's interested on coming back on and talking about his comic. Last time he was just working on his comic. Now it's actually on, I think it's on Indiegogo, I believe. David Fleming, his is on Kickstarter. And I've talked with David a bunch of times on his channel. I'd rather be drawing. And this is volume 2 of his comic. Currently on Kickstarter, and he's coming on, I believe it's Thursday night. I gotta actually set up the stream. But he'll be coming on to talk about his pretty awesome book. And who else I got there? Yes, well, you can go check it out if you're interested. Oh, Ryan Wynn and his project. I had Brian on not too long ago. Hamarella. I think he extended his campaign too. Boop, boop, boom. Oh, it's not over yet, bro. And there's still an asteroid out there with our name on it. I did actually hear of a asteroid story that's supposedly coming our way, maybe next year. I mean, that's pretty much an ongoing thing, isn't it? Except they're usually not big enough to really impact the world in any way. But yeah, you know, I just hope we turn around again to where this COVID isn't escalating, where we can get it under control. You know, I don't think we'll find a cure anytime soon, but we stop it from increasing. It's just crazy. Boom, boom, boom. So it's funny. Rich Fuchsia, who's the penciler of the first issue of Retro, he's on YouTube and he's on Instagram, and on my link tree, I have a link to his YouTube channel. And go check out his work. For the past October, he did do a bunch of inked illustration work of his own. Um, he's no longer looking to work on comics and stuff, but he's still an artist and joined the Inktober festivities, and he's really good. So it was cool to see him do a bunch of illustration work. Because he told me he was getting into painting, which is why he didn't want a pencil retro ongoing. Which at this point, I decided I'm going to pencil the book going forward, even though I have a ton to learn. The mindset is already like integrated into concrete. It's like nobody's gonna change my mind going forward on the fact that I want to be penciling my own book. Boom, boom, boom. That is going to be a trip and a half going forward when I get there. But, now it's just about getting the first issue done, and that may happen this year. They will for sure happen next year if it's not this year. And I will be working on a number of things, not only like trying to do daily art, because the only way I know I improve is if I keep at it on a regular basis. So trying to pencil more and ink more of my own stuff, just being in the habit, and I see improvement. So when I do jump onto working on issue 2, I'll know what the hell I'm doing, hopefully. I've said before that the villain of issue 2 is going to be my brother, so it's bound to get hopefully some laughs. I do have this wacky character in mind. How exactly he'll come together remains to be seen, but it'll be a lot of fun. Boom, 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 boom. Let's see. Dun, dun, dun. So who else is here in the chat? Not chatting. I got the viewers. Come on, say hello. What are you up to? What are you working on? I hope that everybody comes on here and works with me. It's part of the fun of these streams. And if you haven't already, please hit that like button. Always, if you're watching this afterwards, leave a comment. If you want me to talk about any one thing, because usually I just seem to wind up rambling if I'm not super focused. But I learned long ago that regardless if I do this with others or if I do it solo, the main purpose of these is so I get some work on my personal project done. And that is always helpful. I can't be working on paying gigs I do for other people here. So I might as well work on my own personal project. Still in me, bro. Well, I saw the numbers of people in the watching go up. So I know there's others watching but not chatting. I mean, I've done that. I've watched people, draw or work on a comic or jump into a stream and being quiet myself. Man, it's like between people who stream on YouTube, people stream on Twitch. It used to be like I even forget the other names, like earlier streaming sites. Some of them not around anymore. Or like Twitch used to be one of them that turned, it used to go by a different name, and they changed their whole setup and direction. So now it's mostly gamers, but there's a lot of artists on Twitch, of which I am too, although I don't really stream a lot there. I should, though. If I get a big audience there, then they can subscribe, and that's actual cashola. Tough to stream. Seeing as how it's election night and all, yeah. People are probably watching exit polls, getting drunk, and avoiding the internet altogether. Yeah, I mean, I pretty much myself avoided the internet for the most part today. I guess I was hanging out with my cats earlier, watching some cat videos with them. I mean, real educational stuff there. But yeah, I've been avoiding the possible horror story of what's happening. I'll look at the results later, or at least a clue as to what's happening, what direction it's going, and all that. Boom, boom, boom. But yeah, it's funny. It's like, sometimes when I stream, I'm so on top of things, and sometimes I'm like, I don't have a clue as to what to talk about. And tonight I'm just not giving myself any. It doesn't really matter. It's like I'm just working. At the end of the day, is if I'm making progress on this book, that's a great thing. Anyway, well, I did watch the episode 1 of Mandalorian season 2, and my favorite actor, whose name is escaping me, he was on Justified. He was on Drew Barrymore show not too long ago. Santa Clarita Diet. He was on the first episode of Mando. So that was really fun. Though I didn't recognize him at first. He cut his hair shorter and had more of a tan or something. I don't know. Something threw me off. Oh, well, he beard. He was more rugged. Somebody said he looked more like Roger Moore or somebody else. But it was a good episode. See where it goes. I'm really looking forward to Rosario Dawson showing up and Katie Sackhoff showing up. I actually met Rosario. Well, I saw her at a con. Actually, I have a friend, and his cousin is Rosario, so he would have introduced me, but I just wanted to. Sometimes I just want to see stars at conventions, and that's enough for me. It's like, oh, there's, like I went to Nashville a few years back for forget what it's called, like the Walking Dead show convention, and I would have loved to walk up to a lot of those stars and say hi and get autographs and pictures, but every one of them charges an arm and a leg, so I was perfectly happy. I think I saw at least a dozen of the stars from this TV show. Some of them were no longer on there. But I saw Daryl. I saw Glenn. I saw Carol. Bunch of them. And yeah, so Rosario was at a convention, and while I didn't walk up to her and say hello, it's like I saw her. I went too far from her table, and man, she's pretty. You see her in shows, and you see her in photos and everything. But she just radiates in person. She's gorgeous. As long as there's more Baby Yoda to be Hal. I'll keep watching The Mandalorian. Yep, there's still more Baby Yoda. It's funny that they call him Baby Yoda, but he's a baby, whatever that race is. He's not like Yoda. Isn't the race? It's the character's name. So it's weird that everybody calls him Baby Yoda until we have an actual name to call him, I guess. Which, if they're smart, maybe they'll do it this year, this season. For all we know, it could be a female version of the race. Wouldn't that be crazy? Mm-mm-mm. But yeah, that's a fun show. I don't have Disney Plus, so there's nowhere for me to watch. What was it? Rebels? The sort of the last series they had. I do want to watch that, even though I hear the last season or last couple of seasons are better than how it started. I still want to watch it from the beginning. I guess when I could afford it. Right now, I have Netflix and Amazon, and that's enough. Oh, I also pay for my StreamYard, so I could do fancy stuff like, let's see, what's this one? Subscribe to my channel. Trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. If you're not already subscribed, please take a moment and subscribe and hit that bell so you get notifications of when I'm live. And if you also want to support me in my studio, Studio, you can commission me starting at $25 and up. Different sizes, penciled or pencil inked. Message me if interested. There's my do that business. I don't really do enough for that. A lot of other creators, kill on that. They constantly put together ads and post them everywhere on their social and yeah, I don't do enough of that. Boom, boom, boom. We can call him the child, but I think better Baby Hitter is fine. I understand hardcore fans get annoyed when filthy casuals call it Baby Hitter. No, I mean, if you say Baby Yoda, everybody knows what you're talking about. If you say the child, then nobody knows. Like most people wouldn't know what the hell that means. Like even somebody who watched only Star Wars would know Baby Yoda. Oh, okay, it must be a baby version of Yoda. I mean, we had Baby Groot. Now we got Baby Yoda. Just wait till you see Baby Retro. Baby Retro coming in 50 issues. Just you wait. Be more popular than those two. I don't know. I don't know if I'll ever do babies in my comic. We'll see. I do have like a 1,000 stories I want to do. But we shall see. Man, I used to be a fan of back in the day. DC Comics used to do the Shadow, and there was different artists that worked on the book. Um, but at one point, Kyle Baker took over the art, and Kyle Baker, if you don't know his work, is tends to cartoony, and man, I think it was written by Ann Nesenti. Ann Nesenti wrote a lot of stuff at Marvel. Mostly, she's known for like her run on Daredevil after Frank Miller's run, and I could be wrong, but I think it was her. Anyway, it's easy to look up DC Comics, The Shadow, um, Kyle Baker, and it was just hysterical stuff. Um, like I love hardcore, like kind of realistic um, artwork for a character like the Shadow, who's like, he's like a serious character. Um, but this cartoony version, Kyle Baker doing the artwork and just like loopy stories, was hysterical. And I loved Kyle's work on it and kind of where they were taking it. You could do sort of like crazy stories with serious characters. It's been done. One of my favorites is Master of Kung Fu back in the day. Doug Bench, Paul Galesi. They did a lot of the Paul Galesi. I'm sure it was his idea. It could have been both of them. But he was using likenesses of movie stars for a lot of his characters in the stories. I'm hearing dogs outside now. Um, so, like, Master of Kung Fu was based off of Bruce Lee, of course. That was super popular back in this was in the 70s, so it was popular in the 70s. They had one character that looked like Sean Connery. Rest in peace, Sean Connery. Um, the girl was an actress, Sophia something. There's somebody looked like David Niven. It was just really cool. Serious stories, serious action. Freaking love the the action that Paul Galesi was putting down on paper and realistic likenesses and vehicles. It was just phenomenal stuff. And then it would just like go off the rails in Goofy Town at the same time. If you're ever in comic shop, look up back issues of that. Great stuff. Yes, I read millions of comics in my time. Don't read as much as I used to, but I'm gonna try to dig through my piles so I can get caught up with stuff I've bought. I keep buying into all these Kickstarters and stuff. I gotta read, I gotta read what I buy. It's the only way. But yeah, I mean, if I was to say what comics, you always have like what artist inspired my style, what writer inspired the way I write stories, and but what comics, what storylines inspired what I love to do as well, or what I would at least attempt to do. And one of them was just definitely Shang-Chi. That run. Even later, Mike Zeck took over the artwork. You know, if you don't know Mike Zeck's work, um, he's truly a master as well with his art. And I could have sworn recently I saw a picture of Mike Zeck, and he's an average white guy, I think. I always thought he was maybe Asian, or is it like Zeck? What kind of name is Zeck? I never knew him. I never saw a picture of him back in the day, or not until recently, and I'll have to like look him up again, because it's like, man, he's just an average white guy. I always thought he was, maybe from some other country or something. But he's the way he blocks out black areas and crafts, uh, you know, composition on his covers and pages, and really, really inspiring. But it's like, I tell everybody, like, because it's true. Like the first couple of years of me inking in comics was definitely like heavily influenced by Bernie Wrightson. Um, and another one was Pete Craig Russell. Those are two heavy early influences. Pete Craig Russell, more his standard comic book fare, because he did a lot of more artsy stuff, and the artsy stuff is great. Don't get me wrong, but like picked up a independent book of his, Night Magic, and that stuff was gorgeous. And his line work on that, and it's definitely, I think more people see Pete Craig Russell in my work than Bernie Wrightson. But when I first got into comics, I knew I sucked. I knew I knew my way in was as an inker, and I knew my ability to ink pretty much sucked. Um, but I learned, how to throw down some clean lines and make things pretty over time. You just, if you want to know how to do something, just do it. Is the first way. If you want to know how to fix a car, then try to fix a car. If you want to know how to make art, then make art. Yeah, you only get better by doing. That's been my experience. That's why, like, um, even even though it's still a little while a ways away, um, I'm not terrified of penciling retro, the series. you know, I do want to get better at what I've done. I've done a couple of short stories, and I see my style slowly emerging, but also being like, not entirely nailed down. And I'm not totally worried about it being utterly consistent, but as I said before, it's like I love what I can do in pencil, even though it's like mostly what I've done is inking. But as far as doing my own work, I'm learning how to get better as an artist by penciling more, drawing in pencil and penciling comic pages and that sort of thing. And I really can't wait to get to issue 4 or 5, because I know I'll be like really into more of a rhythm by then. So, but yeah, Pete Craig Russell, night music. Um, that book is awesome. It's like this guy, and he's in a spaceship, and it's just the way, the lighting, the line work, it's also a bunch of other stuff. It's like there's a sequence where it's somebody dreaming, floating on a bed or something or another. It's a bunch of stuff. It was just him wanting to do really beautiful artwork, and he didn't put it out himself. I think it's I want to say Eclipse comic company back in the day. But it was truly gorgeous work. Um, Something I've discovered recently, which I didn't know, but makes total sense if you look at the person's work, is it's like I'm a fan, like everybody that knew his work, of Michael Golden, and you know back in the day, I knew Michael Golden's work from Micronauts, which is a toy line made into a comic by Marvel. Then the Nam, which was Vietnam comic by Marvel also. And what I didn't know was like a lot of the image artists were inspired by his work. But what you do is you get early Mike Golden work from his stuff on Marvel. He did a bunch of Marvel fanfare stories and Spider-Man stories. I don't know, other things. And you compare it to like Silvestri and Jim Lee and even a little bit Todd McFarlane, Eric Clausen, and you could sort of see where they took the basics of what Mike was doing and expanded on it. And there's a lot of raw line work in Mike Golden stuff um, before his style really solidified to what it was later. And you could see like that's what inspired Jim Lee, and he took the basics of that and really developed it on his own. Much like when he was copying Frank Miller a little bit with Deathblow. Um, it was really like inspired by Frank Miller stuff, and then Jim Lee took it in his own direction. But yeah, so like there's plenty of artists that sort of inspire my style, or what will be my style when it becomes more and more consistent. Um, and I see what I do and what I love, and I see what I do, what I hate. I know I'm too heavy at times, but I do like a lot of detail at the same time. So it's always the balance of taking it further, but not get away. There's a lot of cars or something out outside. A lot going on outside. Yeah, so to mention again, I'm going to have a number of people come on: David Fleming, Randy Siplon, um, and a lot more others. Once I put together more people with, like, work out days and times with their schedule and my schedule. Um, Maybe I'll list them below. Or set up streams, on my channel. You can go look at my channel and check out who's coming up, what days and whatnot. So you can catch it live and ask us questions. Because if it's just me here, then I tend to ramble. Ramble on. Ramble on a wayward song. Dun, 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 dun. So yeah, I'm just getting started with this page. Rich, the pencil, his style was very tight ish early on, and um, it's definitely a way different style for these last pages. Um, and so I think I have even more fun with this later stuff and just, interpret it as I see fit. It's definitely a lot of fun things going on. For sure. And you can't hear him, but, well, her. I have two girls now. Just two kitties. She's knocking on my window. Say it's time to end your stream so you can play with me again, or feed me more food, or give me hugs. Which is why I was mentioning, perhaps me getting a cat sitter would be a good idea, so I could not have to deal with my cats while I'm trying to work. I'm really fussy about having uninterrupted hours. And pets, they interrupt when they feel like it. So it goes. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, at the same time, I like over rendering. I am going to leave some stuff for the colorist, and you know, while initially I was going to go with computer coloring, unfortunately, the colors kind of flaked, so I'm going with a lot more simplistic, a lot more retro style, if you're so inclined. But still, you can, I could still leave some stuff open and it be colored and look cool. Because it's not about feeling cool, it's about looking cool. Or however the saying goes. Yeah, I think I'll like over rendering some of this. It's just fun. It's just fun. But yeah, so I'm gonna get my late meal in soon. So I think I'll call this stream done. Please like this video. The more likes it gets, the more potentially other people will see it. That's how YouTube likes to work. So I'm told. Leave a comment below the video. Let me know what you think. What you'd like to see. Maybe a guest you'd like to see on my channel that hasn't been on my channel, or previous guests come on again. Subscribe if you haven't. That whole deal. Nefarious says, okay, bro, thanks for the stream. See you next time. Yeah, thanks everybody who came to hang out. And I'll see you again shortly. Have a great night, everybody. Take care.